the Mindful Physios. There's two of us. You'll meet Bex later. So me and Bex form the Mindful Physios. And thank you for joining us today. I'm going to be taking you through the Simple Steps program. I will be starting off with step 1, which is your pre-op step. This step is an excellent way to help prepare your body for your surgery and help to strengthen those abdominals and help prevent any parastomal hernia post-surgery. And you'll find that this will help you also achieve a quicker recovery and also hopefully a better recovery for your mind and your body. So today we also luckily have our wonderful physical work ambassador Rachel with us, who will actually be teaching the exercises and talking through them with her. So welcome and thank you to Rachel.
Hi, thanks Julie. Cheers. Good to be here.
Excellent. So Rachel, we're going to talk to begin with about your core and a little bit, I'll go briefly of what it's about, but there is a little bit more information about that in the pack that you should have all received. So Rachel, do you know a little bit about your core and what it is?
A little bit, but I'm sure you can teach me a lot more.
Okay, so your core is actually made up of 4 main sections. So you can think of it a little bit like a tin can, okay? So at the top of your can, you've got your diaphragm that sits here, so that's your big breathing muscle. At the bottom of your can, you've got your pelvic floor that sits at the bottom. It's a big kind of sling muscle, goes from the back to the front, and it supports all your organs inside. At the front of the can, we've got your deep abdominal muscles that cross at the front. And at the back, we've got a muscle called multifidus that supports the back. So these 4 muscles all work together to help us strengthen the core and help us support our spine. And this is really, really important for you post-surgery to help strengthen those abdominal muscles and support yourself to prevent a parastomal hernia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through a couple of very simple exercises to help activate the core and to help get you in a position where we can allow the right muscles to work at the right time and in the right way. Okay. I'm going to begin by teaching in lying. Are you quite comfortable in lying, Rachel?
Yes, yeah, I'm okay with that.
We're going to demonstrate on the mat, but that doesn't mean at home. You can also do this on your bed. If you struggle to get on and off the floor, you can do this in bed. And then I will also talk you through a little bit briefly, if you cannot lie down, how to do it in the chair and also standing, okay? So to begin with, we're going to come lie onto our back. So just make your way down onto the mat there, Rachel. And depending on how comfortable you are, you may need a little pillow underneath your head. That's absolutely fine. Or you may feel quite comfortable without. So entirely up to you. And we're going to start with our feet. They should be about hip width apart and those knees are bent up. And I want you to root down your feet into the mat. So imagine you've got 4 little corners on your feet. You've got base of big toe, base of little toe, and then the 2 corners of your heel. I want you to feel those points nice and connected to the mat. So do you feel that, Rachel?
Yes, yeah, I can.
That can mean that your knees are pointing right up to the sky and not dropping in or falling out. Then we're going to move through something that we call pelvic tilting. Now this is a really good exercise, but it also helps us to get into what we call the rest position to enable those muscles to work at the right time. So you can either keep your hands down by the mat or you can bring them onto your hips here, whichever feels more comfortable. And we're going to tip our pelvis all the way forwards. So we're making a little arch in our lower back here. So you should feel a little gap come in that lower back as you tip forwards. Okay. And then we're going to tip that pelvis all the way back, flattening the back into the mat.
Yeah.
So what we could imagine here is that you've got a little blueberry underneath your lower back. And as we tip the pelvis forwards, you can feel that maybe that blueberry could roll away. But as you tip that pelvis back, you could squish that imaginary blueberry into the mat. How's that feel, Rachel?
Okay, yeah, that feels a nice stretch.
It's quite nice, isn't it? So just moving between these two positions. We can take a nice breath in when we arch the back, when we let that blueberry roll away. And then we can breathe out when we flatten that blueberry, flatten the spine into the mat. We'll just do a couple more here. And then once we've flattened that blueberry, so imagine you're squishing that blueberry all the way into the mat, we'll then just relax off it ever so slightly. So we're no longer squishing it or letting it roll away. We're somewhere in the middle of those two positions. How does that feel?
Okay.
So
Yeah, that feels nice.
Yeah. So this is what we call our pelvic neutral, and this is a position that can help us activate the core quite nicely. So from here, we're going to then bring our hands onto our rib cage. And I want you to imagine you're lying on the sand, okay? And we want to imprint the back of your rib cage into the sand here. So you'll feel then your ribs just gently draw away from your hands. Do you feel that?
Yep, I can. Yeah.
So you should then feel that your tummy muscles are just a little bit awake. Do you feel that?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Lovely. So you're kind of ready for action. So I want you to keep those ribs nice and soft, imprinting into the mat at the back here.
Okay.
And keep your hands on the ribs maybe to start with, and see if you can keep those ribs down as you draw your shoulders away. So you're nice big opening through the chest. Shoulder blades drawing back towards each other. And this is quite tricky for a lot of us that tend to sit a little bit curled. We're really trying to open up through the chest, but keeping those ribs down. And then just float your hands down onto the mat and reach those fingertips down towards your toes so your shoulders to draw away from your ears. How's that feel? It's actually quite hard work. It is, isn't it?
Lots to think about.
And then just think about tucking your chin, and we're just lengthening at the back of the neck here. And you should feel here that your spine is really nice and long.
Yeah.
And that you're still quite strong in this position. Do you feel that, Rachel?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, so this is our rest position. If you stay there, Rachel, try and just stay free. I'm just going to talk through quickly. If at home you can't do this in lying, you can also grab a nice hard chair, so dining room chair, and maybe do the same. All these exercises you can do on a chair, exactly the same. You'll have your feet hip width apart, root through the feet, and then we'll find that nice length through the spine. For doing your pelvic tilting, again, you can bring hands onto the hips and tilt forwards and backwards. And you can maybe imagine that little blueberry just underneath that lower back, and you're squishing it into the back of the chair as you move here. Okay? And exactly the same if you're going to do that in standing. You'd come up into a standing position. Exactly the same. Maybe this time we imagine we're pressing the blueberry into the wall as we tilt forwards and backwards here. And the key is, as Rachel will feel, she's holding that position very nicely, that you're maintaining this nice length through the spine as you're sitting, as you're standing, or as you're lying. Okay? The reason we mostly teach it in lying is because it's a lot easier to get that feedback and feel that position. As you can probably feel, Rachel, you can feel the feedback of the floor telling you where you kind of need to be, right?
Yes, yeah, I can feel that.
You look really great there. Good work. Sorry to keep holding you there.
That's okay.
So now we're going to work on our breath. So if you remember, I talked about the core, that the diaphragm is really, really important for the core. So we need the breath to be working correctly before we start working that core. So, Rachel, can I get you to place one hand onto your belly here? Doesn't matter which one, whichever feels comfortable. And we're going to maintain this nice rest position that we went through. Now, I want you to imagine underneath your hand there's just a little balloon, okay? And when you breathe in, you're going to inflate that balloon. And when you breathe out, you're going to deflate that balloon. And you should feel your hands just rising and falling.
Yeah.
As you inhale and as you exhale. Can you feel that, Rachel?
Yeah, I can.
Excellent, well done. So for a lot of us, particularly probably feeling a bit anxious pre-surgery, we will tend to breathe into the chest or the neck, the shoulders. So we really, really important to try and get that breath down into your belly. And it's also nice and relaxing, isn't it? It feels really relaxing when you actually get that breath deep down into the belly, doesn't it, Rachel?
Yeah, I can feel myself just starting to relax in it.
Yeah, yeah. It's really nice. So you can also just practice this for as long as it feels comfortable for you, just working on that breath a little bit. And perhaps if it feels good for you, you can close your eyes as we just work on that breath, just breathing in and breathing out. And once you feel you've got that rhythm, we then want to start working on our core. So we're going to start by thinking about those deep abdominals. So if we think about that tin can, the front of the can, it's a really nice way to feel that is if we take a deep breath in all the way, inflating that balloon as much as we can. And then if we breathe all the way out, every little bit of air, really squeeze all the air out, you'll feel a little bit at the end, that deep contraction of your belly muscles drawing in. Do you feel that, Rachel?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah. So that's your deep abdominals contracting. So it's quite subtle, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, just right at the end there.
Just right at the end. So that's what we're looking for. And we're always looking for it on a breath out because it works with the diaphragm. Okay, so we're just going to work on doing that with our normal breath. So we take a breath in, and as we breathe out, just feeling that deep contraction. So almost like you're wearing a tight belt. And those abdominals are drawing in towards your belly button. And you breathe in, and you allow the belly to expand so those muscles will naturally relax. How's that feeling?
Yeah, I can feel that, that's good.
Yeah, excellent. So this is a really important exercise, particularly post-surgery, to help prevent that peristomal hernia. And then it's really useful that you can use, say if you're doing anything where you're getting up out of a chair or walking up and down the stairs. And so it's really important pre-surgery that we learn how to do this. Okay? So do you feel you've got that? You understand that feeling, Rachel?
Yes, yes, I can. Thanks.
Excellent. Okay. So we're going to move on to the bottom of your tin can, your pelvic floor. Now you may, when we work on activating the pelvic floor, you may feel when you do this that you also feel those deep abdominals contracting a little bit as well. Okay. So to engage your pelvic floor, again, it's always going to be on a breath out. And we're going to think, if you remember I said it's like a sling muscle from the back to the front. So we'll think about literally lifting from your back passage all the way forward. And again, it's a very subtle movement. So we'll take a breath in, just a normal breath into your belly. And then as you breathe out, just feel a gentle lift from your back passage coming forward.
Yep, got that.
And then when you inhale, just let it go. Let that belly expand. So that pelvic floor kind of drop down a little bit.
Okay.
So a good analogy for women is to just think about stopping yourself mid-flow. That kind of little gentle inside lift that you feel mid-flow. Does that make sense, Rachel?
Yeah, that does.
Now, if you're a man, yes, you do have a pelvic floor. But you can think about, imagine you're kind of walking into the cold ocean and the really cold water is getting a little bit higher to where you don't want it to be. And you just feel that gentle lift drawing in, okay? So always with the breath. So we breathe in, the belly inflates. We breathe out, we feel that gentle lift. And you may feel that gentle drawing in as well when you lift the pelvic floor. Do you feel that, Rachel?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. And then when you breathe in, just allow it to release. Lovely. So we exhale, we engage. And we inhale, we release. Quite relaxing when you do it as well, actually, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, once you get into the rhythm of it, it's good.
Yeah, excellent. So we also talked about the back of the tin can. Now what's actually happening when we're in this rest position is you're automatically engaging the back of the tin can. So now effectively we've learned how to support everything inside with that whole tin can analogy. Good. Okay, so now we're going to add in just a little bit of movement with this exercise. So this rest position, the breathing and the engaging of the deep abdominals, going to be thread throughout your whole exercise plan. So you want to be able to maintain this rest position throughout each exercise, okay?
Okay.
So you can bring your hand back down onto the mat now. Now you may find that you've wiggled out of your rest position a little bit, so just have a little check, feel where you are.
Yeah.
Find that length through the spine. And just start by connecting with that breath again. So breathing in, inflating the belly, breathing out, finding that little lift of the pelvic floor, engaging with those deep abdominals.
Okay.
So, what's your favourite drink, Rachel?
I like elderflower. I think is my favourite.
A lovely glass of elderflower balanced on your right knee, and it's full
Okay.
screen. I don't want you to spill it, okay? So we're going to come into the next exercise called one leg stretch. So you've got your elderflower on your right knee. We're going to take a nice breath into the belly, and as we breathe out, we're going to find that engagement as we slowly slide the left leg out along the mat. Now think about your blueberry underneath your lower back. Don't squish it, but don't let it roll away. Then we'll inhale, just slide the leg all the way back.
Okay.
Well done. We'll stay on this side. So we exhale, we slide. Don't spill your elderflower. Think about the blueberry. And maybe find that little lift of that pelvic floor, engaging with those deep abdominals. Then inhale, slide it all the way back. How's that feeling, Rachel?
Yeah, that's feeling nice stretch. Yeah.
Does it feel a bit more work than you think it would be?
It's definitely more work than I thought. Yeah.
We're trying to maintain this nice rest position. So you should feel it gently ticking away at the core there. Do you feel that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's just thinking about it all together.
Yeah. We're just going to do one more on this side, and then we'll change on the other side. You haven't spilt your elderflower, have you?
Not yet.
Good. Well done. Well, let's see how we go on the other side. So now the elderflower's on the left knee. We maintain the same position. We take a breath in, and then we exhale, slide the right leg out long. Remember that blueberry underneath your lower back. We're not going to split it or let it roll away.
Okay.
And inhale, bringing it back in.
Yep.
So keep going on this side. What I should say at home is, if you're struggling to get the leg all the way out straight without losing the blueberry and arching the lower back, you can keep it much smaller, okay? So always staying within a range that you can control and that feels comfortable for you. How does that feel on this side, Rachel?
Yeah, that feels good. It's a nice stretch.
Lovely. Well done. Let's draw that leg in, bring ourselves all the way back. Okay, excellent. That was really good work. You really maintained that nice rest position, and I didn't see any elderflower spill. So now we're going to work through a little bit of loosening up for those hips to help release any tension through the hips pre-surgery. So we're just going to walk our feet out a little bit wider. So if you're on a mat, then as wide as the mat. If you're not on a mat, just imagine you are, and just walk the feet out. So remember, this can also be done on your bed. So just imagine you're on a mat, those feet are a little bit wider. And we're going to also just bring those arms out towards the sides. Just relax them onto the ground here. Lovely. And now we're just finding that nice length through the spine still. Find your breath. Take a nice breath into your belly. And as you exhale, just gently drop your knees down to the left-hand side, just as far as is comfortable for you. And you can, if you like, just take your gaze the opposite way. Take a nice breath in at the bottom. And then a breath out. We're going to come back, bring the knees back to the center. And let's see if you can almost squish the blueberry as you bring the knees back. So that imaginary blueberry, see if you can squish it. And then we drop the knees down the other way, nice and slow. Take that nice breath in. Then exhale. See if you can squish the blueberry underneath your lower back to bring the knees back through centre.
Okay, yeah.
How's that feeling?
Well, that feels a really good stretch. It's quite
Nice.
just thinking about it all the time is, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, really nice. And always just go into where feels comfortable for you. So keep going side to side, moving with that breath. And just feel that releasing through the hips, but still ticking away, just working at that core a little bit. Let's just do one more each way, nice, slow and controlled. Breathing out as you drop the knees down. Take a nice breath in. And breathing out as you squish that imaginary blueberry into the mat, bring the knees back through to centre. And then down the other way, lovely. Lovely, well done Rachel, really good. How did you find that?
Thank you, yeah, that was good.
Great.
Yeah, that was good.
So you can have a nice little rest now. So that concludes our first step, our pre-op step for your your stoma surgery. So thank you for joining us, Rachel. Good luck on your journey, and we'll see you for our next step.
Thank you. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you very much.